90% of the millionaires in this world, somehow, some way, they always make it back to investing into real estate. 9 out of 10, that alone should tell you something, because success leaves clues. Hi, I'm Carlos Reyes. I was born in Mexico and I was brought to this country illegally twice by my single mother. After a few decades of poverty and trying to survive on a 9-to-5, I discovered real estate wholesaling and made my first million in just 2 short years. Since starting, I flipped over 1,000 houses, became a top keynote speaker, and expanded my network with other 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. I went from zero to hero. I'm truly living the American dream. If I can change my life, so can you. Subscribe to my channel and I'll show you how. You know what, guys? Even with everything that's going on in the world right now, right?
It's the most secure
NFT,
thing.
with stocks, with Forex, with crypto. Man, if you gave me the choice, if God came down from his throne and said, hey, Carlos, you're going to be very successful at one specific thing. You got to make a choice. It's going to be crypto, it's going to be Forex, it's going to be NFTs, it's going to be whatever, right? Or it's going to be real estate. I would choose real estate 10 out of 10 times.
It is the most secure investment.
It's the less volatile investment for sure, right? And the other thing, guys, I don't know how many of you are readers, by the way. They say leaders are readers, by the way. In a way, who wants to join me? Who wants to commit to one book a week? One book a week. One book a week. Anybody want to join me for one book a week? One book a week, right? I love it. So, guys, 90% of the millionaires in this world, somehow, some way, they always make it back to investing into real estate. 9 out of 10, that alone should tell you something, because success leaves clues. So you are in the right trade, all right? So you guys, and you're in the right room. With that being said, let's get started, right? Let's talk shop. What is the market doing right now, Sal?
So
it's a seller's market.
It's 100% seller market right now, because just by looking at the supply and demand, there is so much demand and there is very little supply. So in anything, not just real estate, in anything that you see in the market, Twinkies, when Twinkies went out of business, and well, they claimed that they're going to go out of business, there was some Twinkies are selling for $100 or like $10,000 Twinkies or whatever on eBay. I was told this. I've seen some pictures. I don't know if they're true or fake, but that's supply and demand. Now Twinkies reopened up their factory and whatnot, and they're selling for.
I used to love Twinkies.
Oh man, I bet you did. But just to tell you, this can happen with everything. The reason I bring the Twinkie example, because that can happen on any level of consumers. Right, and real estate is obviously there's a consumer, supply and demand. So just because it's a big building or it's a high-ticket item doesn't make it any different. Now that we know this, we established that we thought that after COVID things are gonna go crazy, right? Like it's gonna go the opposite way that it went right now. If anything, COVID did the best thing for real estate. Yeah, for other businesses, it's sad that it got shut down. There's especially a lot of people
like lost restaurants and service business.
Absolutely, there's a lot of businesses went out of business, or a lot of people went out of business because of that. So it's sad to say, but fortunately for real estate, it's been better than ever. And the more that we're going into it, people thought in 2020 it's going to go down, and they're like, no, you know what? In middle of 2021 kept increasing, and guess what? By the end of 2021, we hit at highest peaks, and now they're predicting in 2022 we're even going to go higher by 16%, up to 16%. So, and that's just 3 months from now. That's just the first 3 months, and we just had a discussion with a genius of a human being, and he was showing us the Crowford report and how things are increasing in the supply. Where if we pumped properties, if all the builders got together and built houses today, all of them together with all full effort, they would not finish supplying properties for a whole year. That should just tell you something.
Can I say something, by the way? Guys, there has never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. So for those of you that are making, like, look, there's 110 people on here, by the way. Thank you guys. We love you guys. Let me just say this. There has never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. Why? Well, endless opportunity, one, right? America, as a country, we are the softest and the laziest that we've ever been. Two, great opportunity for people like you that are on this call, right? And three, look at there's never been a bigger transfer of wealth. Think about what's going on. Guys, I don't know, I think Jeff Bezos launched Amazon back in like 1990 or in the 90s, right? What took Jeff Bezos over 30 years as far as net worth, right, to be worth what he is now, it took him less than 2 years to triple that net worth. That should tell you something. There has never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. And for those people out there, right, 9 out of 10, 99% of society, that had the 9-to-5 jobs, and some of you probably still have 9-to-5 jobs. I worked a 9-to-5 job for a very long time. We always thought that was the securest thing ever. COVID showed us that there is no certainty in a job, that there is no security in a job.
COVID or
a lot
no
of people
COVID.
Lost their jobs.
COVID or no COVID. This is a false advertisement. There is never security in a job. That's the truth. So you got to pick your. My bad. You got to pick whatever that you feel like you want to do for the rest of your life. And if you're going to do it for a certain time just to get out of a certain situation, that's fine. Carlos worked at his 95 while working for the real estate before he exits. You utilize that.
And you were trying to convince me we already had deals in the pipeline. Mm-hmm. I already had money in the bank, like 6 months worth of reserves.
Yep.
Right. And I want to talk to you guys about that, by the way. For those of you that are out there struggling, I want to talk to anybody out there, any 9-to-5er out there that has a job and is like, Carlos, when is the right time to leave my job? Yep. I want to break down what it's going to take for you to leave that job. I want to let you know that you got to have 6 months worth of reserves. I don't want you to just quit your job. That's illogical, especially if you have a family and you have a mortgage and you have car and you have insurance. I don't want you to just quit your job. I want you to be strategic about, going away from that job. And that's what we want to do today. That's another thing. That's why I bring on all the questions again, this isn't just real estate, guys. We want to help you succeed. And a lot of people undermine the mindset and the emotional part of being an entrepreneur. They think that it's all work, grind, success, money. No, guys, you gotta be successful here, right? Before you're ever successful out here. I know that Sal was successful here before he was successful out here. I know that I was successful here before I was successful out here. Does that make sense? Because guess what? 9 out of 10 of you right now, you don't lack resources and you think you lack money. No. You lack the willpower. You lack the mindset to be successful, believe it or not. Let's be honest with each other, right? It's right here. That's what's keeping you from becoming a millionaire. It's not, I just told you, I came here with nothing. I came here with less than you. I grew up dirt poor. I had a single mom. I became a multimillionaire. I was resourceful. Sal and I connected. We became partners. We launched businesses, right? You don't have a money problem. You have a mindset problem. Procrastination. That's one thing. Lack of action, right? Feeling not worthy. Oh man, I can't do it. Why me? I can't do it, right? Lack of worthiness. That's a big thing, man. Everybody goes through these things. By the way, every entrepreneur that I know has had to face these things and had to go through that fear, but they had enough courage to get through that fear. And that's when they became very successful on the other side. I'm sure you had your own fair share.
I think everybody does it. Logically, whether you move based on emotions or you move strategically, there is always going to be fear. No matter how calculated you are, which I consider myself a very calculated person, there is still always that fear and that doubt. But you have to take that leap that you don't know. It's a leap of faith in you and nobody else. Now that we're getting into this, what's happening with the market, and just to let you know, you're in a great spot. Whether you own a house, whether you're in real estate, you're an investor, you can literally, if you have a house that you bought a couple of years ago, you can sell it today and make money. You can probably exit with $100K or $200K. That you can restart your life with that. You go rent somewhere and then invest that money. Or if you're in real estate, you have the resources. You already know what you're doing, and you can grab properties and make magic with that. I want to talk about what's happening with sellers, because we do believe that if you're dealing with consumers, directly with sellers, then you control the destiny of that transaction. You control your financial destiny essentially in the investment world. So we all know that is the hardest thing to do right now is how you can get properties, right? Because the supply and the demand is crazy. Everybody thinks that their house is worth millions. They're probably right, but you want them to sell you the house. So the biggest thing that we need to talk about is, what are we seeing with sellers?
Let me just say this. From the front end, this is what we're seeing. We're no longer in a market where sellers need to sell. Remember that?
Exactly.
We were always appealing to the 5% as like wholesalers and investors. Like we were always appealing to maybe like the 3 to 5%, people that had extreme necessity, right? Divorce, death, job relocation, they're behind on taxes, right? Rental property, distressed landlord, right? Like that's what we used to be very appealing to. Well, guess what? Right now it's a seller's market. And people are getting, like, these sellers are getting smart. These sellers are a lot smarter than they ever were. And there's a lot of companies there's probably 100 companies trying to buy that one house. So ultimately, two things. One, you have to be able to solve that problem, right? And more than likely, these people are now going to ask, they're not asking for 50 cents on the dollar like they used to, or 60 cents on the dollar, right? They're asking for more than they used to. But you still have to be resourceful enough to be able to take that property, no matter how much they're asking for 80%, maybe even 90%, and still find the right buyer if you're a wholesaler because
there is a shortage in the
because there's a shortage, and because you're resourceful, right? And because you can make that happen for that seller. You're solving that problem. That's what's going to separate you from the rest. So if you're not working with hedge funds, guys, you probably should be. You probably should be. If you're not working with buy and hold end clients, buy and hold end buyers, you probably should be.
Gabriel mentioned something. He said, I stick to 70%
minus ARV. That's the old way.
If you're just operating on that method, yeah, you might be getting deals, which if you are, you're lucky. Good for you. But if you operate just on that, you are really cutting yourself short from really making a lot more money, because people are buying at 90% or more than 90%, 98% without really doing a rehab to a property. If the property is just good enough, people will buy it. Or even you got hedge funds that are buying other people's money. They're getting conventional. They're getting money at 1%.
Guys,
that's a
go ahead.
That's a no-brainer for them to invest in something and get returns back on it at 8%, 9%, whatever that may be. And they're paying 1% on that money. Plus, they're making transaction fees, and they're making all kind of other fees. So they're making money. Plus, they manage the money. So if you're resourceful enough, you should know that you should have all the tools in your tool belt to go after the disposition of the property or at the exit strategy of a property. If you're just going for the 70%, then your model is just going after some fix and flippers. And to be honest, for 70%, that's mom and pop fix and flippers. So you might be going
they're not
very,
even
very
survive.
narrow.
Yeah, they're not even going to survive in this market.
So you may be getting deals, but if you broaden your skill set or your tools, then you're able to do much more business with. You can be versatile. Like you can have so many things that you can do within the same sector of real estate. Right now, you're probably just stuck to the wholesale model with a few buyers, and you know what? Probably people are fighting off the deal if you get one. Well, just do the model where you can add more tools, where you can sell to many people. You're not just restricted to, or buy from many people. You're not restricted to that little buy pool of 70% ARV. That one, you definitely have to stay out of that in 2022. So good thing is that we're at the beginning of 2022. I would hope that you can do a different calculation. What we do is 0.93%. So whatever the ARV is, times 0.93%.
This is the MAO, by the way, maximum allowed offer. This is the way that we calculate our offers. Guys, Sal's about to give you that formula, because it's not the old Shantari, and we love Shantari, but no, that old formula of 70% minus, minus repairs and minus wholesale, like that has not been existent for several years now. And if you haven't evolved to the new maximum allowed offer formula, then guess what? You're losing a lot of deals for sure.
Yeah. So what we do is we do ARV times 0.93%. Meaning is that we're going to remove 7% instantly for closing costs, realtor fees, and whatever that may be. So it could be realtor fees 4%, 5% in between the two. I know it's usually 6%, but for investor, it would be cheaper. And then the other 2 to 3% would be toward the closing cost, right? So now we remove that instantly. Then you remove the rehab cost. Then you would remove the investor fee, which could be anywhere between 8% to 12% if they want to fix and flip it. And then now you remove your wholesale fee, then boom, now you come up with a maximum allowable offer. So if you do the 70% ARV, you're definitely cutting yourself short. So with this method, you might be getting yourself a lot better or more accurate number. Yes, it might take you a couple of seconds more to calculate, but hey, you're allowing yourself to buy deeper, right? Now, as far as what's happening with sellers, Carlos hit the nail on his head. Sellers don't need to sell. It's a want, like whether they want to sell or not. And some of them don't really feel like selling unless the offer is good enough. They're like, yeah, you know what? I'll sell. If you bought a house 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then today, you know you can pull equity over $150,000 in equity, and you know that you have a great investment to buy an NFT card, maybe. I'm just kidding. Buy some kind of an investment, or you know that you can need it for marketing, or you want to do whatever that you have to do. You are going to sell. If somebody calls and say, hey, you know what? I'll offer you this much money. You're like, you're crazy for offering me this much money. And believe it or not, some people are crazy for buying whatever they're buying from, or the price that they're buying at. Would you sell or not? So put yourself in the seller's shoes now. Now you know that you have a hot commodity, and you know that you can make a lot of money with that, and you know everybody's begging you for it. So how do you get people to sell you properties? Obviously, we have to dig deeper now. When it comes to data, when it comes to properties, you need to find the pain points, right? And you know, the more complicated the deal is, the better it is. Because that means you have to find more resources. That means somebody else couldn't solve that problem. That means you can solve that problem better than anyone else. Therefore, you get paid more. The bigger the problem with real estate, the more the payout you have. It's as simple as that. So now we just have to find the desired properties that you want to buy when there is a need to sell, right? And if there's not a need to sell, where you want them to really want to pick you to buy the property from them. So how do you go, Carlos? What would you say? How do you go about a seller? Let's say I'm a seller. I know my house is worth a lot of money. What would you do to buy my house? And I've already gotten a few calls.
So what a lot of people don't understand, you know, when we talk about real estate and we talk about, you know, sales in real estate, we're not really selling a product. We're selling ourselves.
Correct.
Right. So the deeper the conversations, the tougher questions, the person that builds the most rapport, I'm going to be able to connect with that seller. That seller is going to trust me, like me, and want to do business with me. They might even do it at a discount with me because they like me over the next person.
And that has happened many times before.
Hundreds, countless of times, right?
So let me just circle back. What you're saying is that it's not how much you can offer them only. It's how
that's just part of the equation.
That's part of it. That's what the service you can have, and that's probably on the side where you can find exit strategy, whether you buy and hold, or you fix and flip, or you find a hedge fund to buy from you, or a fix and flip, or whatever that may be. But for you believe that the sale happens on the connection level, where it's on building rapport.
Yes, sir. So and you've seen it.
Oh, absolutely.
You've witnessed, like back when I used to make seller calls, you know, you've seen me connect with sellers, and then you've seen me beat out other, you know, investors, and then you've seen me get it at a crazy discount where we made a lot of money, right?
Yep.
Just because I was able to build a connection by building rapport, asking the tough questions, being almost an advisor or a counselor to whatever it is that
whether
is
you get
going
anything
on.
out of it or not.
Whether I get anything out of it or not, just making the connection with that person, and then eventually, just like anything else, man, when you serve someone, they want to serve you back.
100%. Well, we're professional problem solvers. That's
For
what we
sure.
are. So, real estate investor, that's what we're professional marketers and professional problem solvers. That's what we do.